She's a state senator from the 28th Senatorial District. We'll also have some calls in this morning if you'd like, 1-800-357-0910. Kristin, it's great to have you in this morning, albeit during very difficult times right now.
Good morning, Gary. It's great to be on with you this morning as well. And we're living in very unprecedented and very challenging times.
Getting Pennsylvania back to your work. Let's look back on this last week. We had a rally at the Capitol on Monday. We've had all kinds of people around the country saying our states are going back. Georgia's going back. The mayor of Las Vegas wants to get back to work. I think we're seeing some things in Tennessee and some of the other places where people are going back. And yet at the same time, we obviously realize that we have a very serious disease to deal with out there. And so, we've had people, say, well, you got to believe in herd immunity. And then other people say, no, wait a second. This is, we don't know all the answers here yet. We don't have all this down. I imagine you're getting bombarded from every direction with these kinds of questions, much as we are here. But I suspect we can probably take it times 10 for you. Your reaction as you get all this kind of coming at you right now and how you react in terms of giving people the very best advice as a representative of the people.
Well, I certainly think it's really important that you get people accurate information. And you've done a great job as well of pushing that out to your listeners. And look, I've had to address over 1,600 specific constituent cases since the governor mandated the closure of businesses on March 20th.
Right.
1,600. On average, in about a month, 250 to 350 cases, right? So that kind of gives you a sense of the lack of clarity and the uncertainty that people are facing. And the rally that was held on Monday, it was important in that it showed the governor where people in Pennsylvania are on what is taking place here. The House has done a good job of moving legislation that puts pressure on the governor. Today at 10 o'clock, the Senate will be holding the first hearing where Secretary Levine, Secretary Davin, the head of PEMA, the governor's people will be there under oath, sworn oath, to testify about what they're doing. All of these things combined put pressure on the governor to get him to begin to act. And look, and I've said this from the very beginning, protecting the public health and protecting our economic health are not mutually exclusive goals. And that really has been the objective of the legislation that we have put forward. The governor has vetoed it. But, we've created a situation here. The governor's actions put over 1.5 million people on our unemployment rolls.
Right?
1.5 million. And the unemployment compensation system is not working the way it's supposed to. Right? And so when the governor made the move to shut down the economy, I struggle to understand how on earth he didn't have a plan in place to be ready for the massive wave of people that were laid off across the state.
And I think the governor mentioned that last night too in his talk at 7:05 or 7 o'clock on TV, where he said, "Yeah, we've been overwhelmed because we were saying we're sitting on phone lines for 4 hours at a time." And he said we're trying to get people, better help than that, but obviously it's been overwhelming.
Gary, you know that my predecessor in the state Senate, this was a big issue for him. And I've gone back and looked at some of the materials he left behind for me. I mean, let's think about this. Since 2013, $308 million was put into the unemployment compensation system to upgrade the systems, to improve that access. It is absolutely unacceptable. What have we gotten for our money? Now, the Labor and Industry Committee has oversight, but I have to tell you, I'm at this point contemplating trying to assert jurisdiction over this system because I talk to people every day. I have one person on my staff whose sole job right now is to assist people with unemployment compensation. And then I get emails saying, but you're not helping me. And we're making those inquiries. We're put on hold.
Right.
They don't answer our emails. And I have people who have worked hard, paid into the system, were laid off, their jobs taken away from them by the act of the government, and the government can't get its act together to give them the money that they've paid into this system for years.
Yeah.
This is why you pay into it.
Right.
And you need to have that money. It's been since March 20th. People can't pay their bills.
Right. And I think, I think we're all willing to give our representatives and the governor and the secretaries and so forth a wide berth. And yet at the same time, as we have moved forward, and obviously everybody's working on this, it seems like we ought to be able to have the resources and things in there to deal with it, as so many people are out of work and are coming at them and saying, I was dealing with a lady this morning here, back and forth on Messenger. About questions she had about, she said, we want to do the right thing. We want to get some money for our local business. How do we do that? Or, we try to do this, thus and so. We've been on the lines with people. We can't get answers. And those are the things that are frustrating. And again, you're the ones who get that from your constituents, and they're frustrating for people who are trying to get this done and get the money into the hands of the right people. And then we see, obviously, government, and my feelings about government at large. Government could screw up a free meal. And going out and, we have stimulus programs that are supposed to be going out to help small business. Well, who are they helping? We found out big companies are getting the money, and the small businesses and the employees in those small businesses who are supposed to benefit are not getting that. And yet we have people like even Marco Rubio running out who says, oh, well, it's more important to get something done than to get it totally right. I'm paraphrasing, but you get my point. People are not happy about that. About 30 seconds left in this segment. We have another one to go with you. But go ahead.
Well, I would say this about the unemployment compensation system, Gary. I think it was President Truman who had the sign on his desk that said the buck stops here.
Thank you.
And I get that there are challenges, unprecedented times, but the governor has the power to make those decisions. He is in charge of the labor and industry system. He got $308 million. And I think that he also has to accept that the ultimate responsibility for his decisions and running these programs are on him. Mm-hmm. And, we're all held to a level of accountability. And I think, there needs to be some answers, and it needs to be fixed, sooner rather than later. People can't wait much.
Senator Kristin Phillips-Hill.